visual consultant and wardrobe stylist. My passion is helping you clarify and amplify your personal style so that it tells your story in a way that creates more authenticity, more confidence, and more success. I coach you to identify shifts and changes in your approach to fashion. Then I will help you define and curate a wardrobe and personal brand that enhances your quality of life and supports your professional goals. It's about more than looking good. It's about feeling good and confident, and doing so without having to figure it all out by yourself. That's where I, as in Caleb, can help. Fashion has been his passion for as long as he can remember. After high school, he says, I left my hometown of Portland, Oregon. I've been there, Caleb, great place, for the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. After my FIDM studies, I headed to New York City, where I spent 15 years in visual merchandising and fashion styling for one of the country's most iconic fashion retailers. Now, Caleb's works with entrepreneurial, creative, and corporate professionals who want a comprehensive approach to personal style and want a professional partner who can make it easy. So join me in welcoming Caleb London. I'm excited for this, Caleb. Can't wait to hear what you are going to help us do. Bring it on, man. Let's go. We have till about 5 minutes of the hour, Caleb, just so you're aware of time. And let's have some fun with what you have to share with us tonight.
I'm so excited, and thank you so much for you, Kathleen, and also for Lethea, and also Tracy Ruiz, just for the opportunity and the experience to be able to speak to you guys this evening about really the importance, the power, and the impact of visual presentation as it relates to, to your business. Well, just to tell you guys a little bit about myself, my name is Caleb London, and I just really want you to know that whether you're intentional about it or not, that you really are communicating through your personal style. And so as a visual consultant and wardrobe stylist, my mission really is helping you to clarify and amplify your personal style so that it tells your story in a way that creates more authenticity and more confidence and more success. And I really coach all of my clients to identify changes and shifts into, their approach to fashion. And I help you to identify and curate, a wardrobe and a brand that really does enhance and lends itself to your quality of life. So I'll move on from this screen because Kathleen did a wonderful job of presenting me. But I really want you, before we go any further, I really want you to know, who I am through my mission. And my mission is helping clients with a public platform to clarify and amplify their personal styles so that it creates more authenticity, more confidence, and more success. And I do that specifically through fashion styling, through coaching, and through education. Who needs any of this? Well, let's dig in. So any career professional or any individual in a public platform, anyone who's using their image to promote an idea or a product, that's who needs this. And why? To promote, again, authenticity, confidence, and success. And then what? What are we doing actually here this evening? We're clarifying, we're amplifying your personal and or your professional style. And then how are we going to do that? We're going to do that through fashion styling, through coaching, and through education. So I want to start this evening by asking you a coaching question. And the coaching question is this: does your wardrobe support your goals? Yeah. I'll pause. Does your wardrobe support your goals? So oftentimes, if you're getting dressed in the morning and you don't feel good about where you're going, if it's difficult, if it is hard for you, I want you to ask yourself, that question, does my wardrobe support my goals? So oftentimes as we set goals, it's important to ensure that we actually have taken into account whether we have the means and also whether we have the resources to actually support those goals. And it can be an indicator if you're frustrated in the morning, if you don't understand quite how things are happening for you. That your wardrobe is an indicator. Oftentimes, the readiness of your wardrobe can really be an indicator that the goals have shifted all or changed, together. And so the inability to effectively tell your brand's story through clothing is a verification, honestly, that your wardrobe, or at least your approach to your wardrobe, is really not being supported. And usually, when that's not happening, there is a mix of thoughts, feelings, of experiences, of past, wardrobe wins and losses that somehow really do kind of leave us a little kind of jumbled. And so I want to take you through a few examples of what sending mixed messages may feel like. And I like to start with mixed messages because sometimes we think or we feel like we're sending a message to our clients. We feel like we're sending a message to the people who are receiving said message, but we really haven't taken into account our own inventory in terms of whether that message is acute or astute, or not. And so, just this first slide, in terms of examples of mixed messages, I'll just give you the first one. Let's just say I'm a corporate engineer. And, my goal is to be seen as precise and detail oriented, but my suits are often too big or they're ill fitting. That does not say precise. That does not say astute. And so a fast action there would be have your suits tailored and or fit to you. That's a fast action. Another example of a mixed message could be, I'm a working mother. I'm a wife and a mother. And my goal is to feel confident and comfortable. Of course, you've got all these kids running around, or maybe just one or two, but it's a full-time job. But, how do you really do that? And perhaps sometimes you do that by living in sweatpants like 6 days a week, and you're not sure how to get to the other side of that. A fast action can be investing in a capsule wardrobe. And finally, as a public speaker, ideally, your goal is to connect to your audience and to keep their attention. But perhaps you only feel comfortable doing that if you're wearing black, or if you're wearing blue, or if you're wearing a certain color or a certain aesthetic that works for you in the moment. A fast action for that, or fast fix, can be incorporating a color that, number one, personally compliments you, but then also evokes the feeling of what you want your audience to be inspired by. And I'll pause there and share a little bit about the work that that I've done, that I do with Valerie Burton. With anyone who's familiar with Valerie, she is a life coach and a 14 time now book author. The 14th book comes out in September the 26th, 10 Rules of Resilience. And one of the things that we do consistently is making sure that her wardrobe actually works back to the client. What does the client want? Who is showing up for the event, and what will they look like? We're also looking at what are the colors? What are the brand colors? What's the theme for the particular event? And we always work it back to whatever the client wants. And that is the difference, or the starting, and I'll explain in a minute, the difference between personal style and visual branding. And so this is the slide that you're looking at right now, the difference between personal style and visual branding. If you did not know, please let me share with you. Who needs personal style, and or what is it? Who needs personal style? It's anyone who finds value in expressing themselves through fashion. It's that simple. It's anyone who wants to elevate their personal appearance in a meaningful way. That's personal style. It's also anyone who doesn't know what their personal style is and they want to explore it. That is personal style. Now, the difference between personal style and visual branding is the following. It's anyone who has a public platform and wants to elevate the visual impact and appeal of their visual brand. And oftentimes, that's actually not the same as your personal style. I'll talk about that more in a minute. It's also anyone who wants their personal style or appearance or brand to align with their career goals or industry standards. That's also personal branding. Personal branding is also anyone who has a public platform and thinks that they don't have time to care. You need a strategy. It's also for you. And then finally, anyone who is unclear whether their personal style is sending mixed messages about their professional career. I'll go back to the previous slide with the examples of mixed messages in terms of, for example, being a corporate engineer, an executive who wants to be seen as precise and or exact, but somehow the way that you show up daily is not precise and it's not exact, and people can actually see and feel that through your wardrobe. It's also, again, a public speaker who wants to connect to their audience and keep their attention, but they only feel comfortable in a particular way, right? Like that's not necessarily personal style. It is where personal branding or visual branding really, needs to take over. And so I skip forward to, again, just the basic definition of personal style. And this is it. If you take nothing away from this evening, personal style, it's about you. Personal style is about how you want to feel. Personal style is about how you want to show up, right? That's personal style. Again, about you. The difference in style, personal style, and branding is visual branding. It's about them, not about you. Visual branding, it's about your market. It's about your audience. Who are they? How do they show up? How do they want to feel? And how are you visually offering to them something that they can gravitate to instantly without a thought? It is the research actually shows us, it tells us that we typically, all of us, we're human beings, and we make snap decisions and judgments instantly about how we think and feel about people within seconds, usually about 7 seconds. Are you trustworthy? Do I want to work with you? Is this a long-term or short-term relationship? All of these things beyond whatever you think or feel that this meeting may be about. And that, again, is the difference between personal style and visual branding. Personal style, it's about you. Visual branding, it's really about them. And so when we explore that further, and then we ask ourselves, well, how how do I build a wardrobe? How do I understand who I am and where I'm going? My number one piece of advice to all of my clients is number one, it's this. Start with your goals. What is your goal? What is your most important goal? Whatever that is. I don't care. It could be ruling the boardroom and making sure that you are, the top executive in your company. It could be being the top coach in your area. It could be being the top speaker, public speaker in your particular field. Whatever that is, you have to start before you start thinking about your wardrobe. You've got to start thinking about really what are your goals. Because again, the most important question that you can ask yourself and that you can also answer for yourself is, does my wardrobe support my goals? And I'll stay here for a second because oftentimes, again, we we set these goals, whatever these goals are, and we do not necessarily take into account that our wardrobe is an asset, that your wardrobe is a tool to communicate. Again, knowing, as I said previously, that most people actually make snap judgments, whether you want to or not, whether it feels good to you to do it or not. If we're being honest with ourselves, we all make snap judgments about the people that we meet within 7 to 10 seconds. It may change, of course, over time as we continue to engage with them, but the snap is your visual. And that is why your visual impact and your visual intentionality is so important, because you want to start on a leg up, right? Like, why, start from further back? I'll give an example. If you are a personal trainer and you are on Instagram or LinkedIn, and you are giving tips and tricks on how to beef up your muscles, right? And you're doing that in a suit, that's not congruent. If you're also doing that in casual wear, like jeans and a t-shirt, that still gives pause, right? So it really, for this particular executive, for this particular entrepreneur, it's about meeting the client exactly where they are and showing them a reflection of who they are through you. That's why they want to book you. That's why they want to know more about you. And in essence, again, if you don't take anything away from anything else I say tonight, it's really about hooking people in the beginning. In that first 7 to 10 seconds that someone has already made a decision about what they think about you, let's give the most accurate description of what your brand is. So I'll go back to that same scenario. If it is the personal trainer, that means I want to see you talking to me about what I should be doing or what I should be eating over the next 5 weeks or 5 days, um, in 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 workout gear, in workout wear, ideally, that is clean and fashionable and modern. That's what I want to see. because that is what's telling me before I read any more about you that they understand me. I'll give another example. Let's say you are a speaker and you are speaking in the corporate environment, right? But the only post that you do on Instagram, the only thing that you post on LinkedIn is with you in a button-down shirt and maybe some denim. That is a message.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to say the message is wrong per se, but ask yourself, is that the message that is going to draw my audience, right? And so what that looks like is something clean, something tailored, and something in a neutral background, right? That's also something that is most likely navy blue or gray or white or black, because those again snap, I keep snapping because those snap judgments are what your audience is looking at instantly. Now, does that mean that if you don't meet that they won't go further? It doesn't mean that, but it does mean that you're probably working a little harder than you want to or than you have to get that initial visual impact. Visual impact is the most important thing that you can do. I will use
Great.
the president of the organization, Lethea Owens. When you look at Lethea's website, when you look at the dress, that mustard that she's wearing, when you look at how it's used and the background colors that then the graphic team has put together, it's so impactful. It's
Mm-hmm.
so impactful. And again, it's about what was comfortable for her. I styled her for that particular shoot. It was comfortable for her. That is what felt authentic. Again, I'm all about authenticity, as you should be as well. Visual branding versus personal style does not mean a break in your authenticity. It doesn't mean a break in who you are and how you show up. It does not mean that. You can always introduce, you can always infuse who you are naturally with your brand and your business and where you want to go. If it's aligned naturally, if it's not, that's another conversation. However, in Lethea's case, it is a perfect example of how visual branding can impact your final end result. I hope that she doesn't mind me sharing this. I'm going to say it
I
anyway.
don't mind. I don't mind.
Thank you. I
And
knew that when I actually introduced that color to you, to her, um, she didn't necessarily love it, you know. It wasn't bad, but it was just something different that she had not done. And again, in that moment, I was operating from not a space of personal style because I knew what the end result was going to be. The end result was not just Facebook. The end result was not Instagram or personal. The end result was something that would go further and go far, right? And so we have to also think about really what I like to call evergreen.
Mm-hmm. Caleb, I'm going to jump in here because
Jump in, please.
we're just up to the top of the hour, and I don't want to. I want to grab us right there because there's actually a question about what you're saying, which was about color of impact, because you're making such a perfect point about the impact that our style is going to have. And as you just said, it's not just about social media, it's about this long-term impact that goes much farther than one thing. And it's that snap decision. So before we have to shift focuses here, can you answer a question, which was, is there a particular colors? The question was, what impressions do certain colors make? And we just have a moment to hear your thoughts on this. But
Yeah, absolutely.
a couple
Yeah,
of
thank
colors
you. Because I can't see the chat, so I'm kind of talking blind.
figured that.
Oh,
So
here
I'm
we are. I'm
there
back
we go.
again.
Yeah, there
And
you
so,
are.
Kathleen, remind me of the question again.
Question was, what impressions do certain colors make? And you hit on a
Okay.
couple of colors. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to be able to land the plane with that point about impact in certain colors.
Absolutely. So colors, whether again, we know it or not, do impact how other people think and feel and perceive us. It is subjective. So I will say that. It doesn't mean every person feels the same way about a color. However, let's just say you're speaking and you are speaking about joy and happiness and the future. Ideally, you want to be wearing colors like white, like
Mhm.
yellow, like orange, right? Because those colors specifically usually lend themselves to something lighter and ethereal. If you're thinking something or speaking about something that is, more finite, and it's about precision, it's about really giving expertise and advice, then it's okay to actually lend yourself to some of those traditional colors like black, gray, navy blue, right? There are also other colors that will align within the spectrum, perhaps, of really whatever the individual platform is. So I would invite everyone to, again, do the research and to find out for you what colors evoke the emotions that you say you want when you're speaking to an audience. And I would invite you to just have a little lab. Just have a lab. Maybe just pick one event and pick one color that emotes what that is, and then go for it.
Excellent. That's a great tip. Well, let's give Caleb a round thank you. And also, Caleb, do you have a QR code or something that you wanted to put somewhere, maybe out in the chat?
I sure do. I've got a QR code on my last slide, but I will put my Instagram
Yeah.
into the chat.
Yes, that's what we're looking for, more information. So let's see. There we go.
Yeah, it's Caleb London Style at it's on Instagram. So that's really where I am. Caleb London Style on Instagram. I'd love to hear and see more of you all. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity and the time.
Awesome. I hear I love this. Where can I get more? Where can I get more? So let's go, Caleb. All right. Thank you, Caleb, so much. That was amazing. Oh my goodness. I hope we're all now really thinking about what we're wearing and what it's saying for us in the first few minutes. If you want to go change, you might have a minute. Caleb, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Move over to our next portion, which is going to be our education section. Again, if you're just coming on board, I am Kathleen Fisher, and on behalf of the Education Committee, I do want to welcome you to tonight's BNS. I want to give a welcome to all of BNSA's members and guests. If this is your first time, then we hope that you will consider becoming part of the family of BNSA and look for the link in the chat so that you can join in on what is an amazing community here in the Black NSA. Before we go any further tonight, I do want to make a special announcement from the BNSA Influence Committee. So if you're going to influence, thinking about it, perk up here. Mark your calendars for Monday, July 26th. We will be hosting our annual Black NSA Awards Night event. The registration link is coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. Once launched, the early bird registration will stay open for only a few short weeks, so you don't want to miss out on that discount. And Lethea, Our president is here. And are you ready to share something that's on your heart, Letha, before we go any further?
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to welcome everyone. I wanted to make a couple of influence announcements, but you saved me on that because you've already shared some of them. I do want to let you all know that we will have, for the first time ever, a pre conference meet and greet. And we're going to be posting details very shortly, but it'll be on the first day. I think it's right before the main session starts and after the first timers event. But we'll get you more information on that. I'm waiting on a confirmation of the exact time, but I think it's between 3 and 4. And then also, don't forget, as you're making your travel plans, please remember to stay the day after, because we have our annual Black NSA post-conference business meeting and mastermind. And that's a great opportunity for you all to kind of do what we do on implementation day, where you can kind of synthesize all the things that you've learned from the influence event. We get to work together to basically, put a plan of action together for your next steps as you leave the conference, so you can put everything that you need into action so that you can create even more success in your business. I also want to let you know, please watch for our monthly newsletter, and we have a partnership with Seco Space. So if you're interested in getting some new video, demo reel footage, please take a look at our emails that we've sent and our Facebook community, because we're posting frequently about that. And last but not least, we have a special masterclass next week. And if you have ever wanted to really think a little bit more about your authority in the marketplace and how to really establish your credibility and increase your visibility, I will be working with none other than Eric F. King. And next week on the 22nd, we're going to do a special masterclass at 12 p.m. where we're going to be talking about how to elevate your visibility, your authority, and your credibility as a speaker so that you can get more bookings. Kathleen, you're doing a fabulous job. Thank you so much. Take it away. Back over to you.